Hello, everyone. I'm presenting myself very quickly. My name is Patrick Malge. I'm one of the founders of TaxX. TaxX is a website in Luxembourg where you can do your tax return online, the easiest way possible. And today we are talking about how to save on taxes. So you see on the bottom left a QR code. Basically, you can scan that QR code with your phone and schedule an appointment if you want to be called back from one of our experts to talk on the phone about your potential on tax optimizations. And as you see, we have planned a few other webinars about how to save on taxes. We will come back to this later on. So what you have to know about the tax return in Luxembourg is that sometimes it's not mandatory to do one. So basically, it depends on different on your situation. It depends on different criteria. But even if you are not obliged to do so, it could make sense to do one in order to receive a refund of taxes you paid during last year. So today we are having a look about different options you have. So basically, tax optimization on an individual tax return means that you want to deduct various expenses on that tax return. And by deducting those expenses, you can get some tax savings. Those tax savings depend a lot on your revenues. So basically, the higher your revenue is, the higher your tax savings could be. We'll see that in a few minutes. The amount of taxes you have to pay in Luxembourg depends, on one hand, on the taxable income, so basically the revenue of your family, of your household, and on the other hand, your tax class. So the taxable income, how is it determined? Basically, on one hand, you have all your income. That could come from salaries, that could come from pensions, that could come from rent you are getting for an apartment, for example, that you are renting out. And on the other hand, you have different deductions. You have special expenses. We will come to that later. And you have different allowances. I will also give a few examples in a few minutes. So in order to optimize your tax return, you have three angles of attack. So at first, you could lower down your income, which basically it's not the most interesting thing to do. It's easier to increase your special expenses and your allowances, because by increasing special expenses and allowances, your adjusted taxable income, which is used to determine how much taxes you have to pay, will lower down, and by that, your taxes will also go down. So I told you that the taxes you have to pay depend on the taxable income and the tax class. Tax classes in Luxembourg, we have three of them. So basically, to keep it simple, if you are a single without kids, you are in tax class 1. If you are single with kids, 1A. And if you are married or in a registered partnership, then you are in tax class 2. One important information for people in registered partnerships: in order to do your tax return together and get tax class 2, you have to be in a partnership from 1st of January to 31st of December of the tax year. So for example, if you're going to register your partnership today, the first tax return you can do together will be the one for 2023. However, if you would get married today, at that moment, the entire year 2022, you will be already be in tax class 2. So the main goal of tax optimization is to lower down the taxable income. On the tax class side, you don't have a lot of possibilities, because basically the tax class depends on your family situation. So how is your tax rate determined? So basically in Luxembourg, we have what we call a progressive tax rate system, going from 0% to 42% in taxes. On top of that, you have to add the employment fund surcharge. So basically, if, for example, you are single and you are earning less than 150K, then there will be an additional 7% added on your taxes you have to pay. As an example, if you are single with 50,000 euros taxable income, then your last euros you are earning will be taxed at 39%. We'll see an example in a few seconds. On top of that, you have the unemployment fund. So your last euros will be taxed at 41.73%. This means also, if you deduct, for example, 100 euros on your tax return, then your tax savings will be 41.73 euros. We'll come to that later. So let's have an example. So I told you we have a progressive tax system here in Luxembourg. So basically, the example for a single with 50K adjustable taxable income, the first 11,000 euros you are earning are tax-free. So you don't pay taxes on those 11,000 euros. The next 1,872 euros are taxed at 8%, the next at 9%, and so on. So every euro you are earning above 45,897 euros will be taxed at 39%. And on top of that, there's the unemployment fund of 7%. So at the end, every euro over that 45,897 will be taxed at almost 42%. So your average tax rate, it's 19%. Basically, it's all the taxes you have to pay compared to your taxable income. But for tax optimization, we are just looking at the marginal tax rate. So the highest tax rate your income will be taxed at. So taxable income is the possibility to save on taxes. If you want to do so, you have to lower it down. The amount of taxes you can save depends a lot on your personal situation and on your income. We'll come to that later. But just let's get back to the example. So the single with an adjustable taxable income of 50,000 euros would have to pay 9,743 euros in taxes without optimization. If now, for example, he would deduct 4,000 euros on his tax return, for example, through insurances, through pension plans and home-saving plans, then the adjusted taxable income will be only 46,000 euros. And going back to our table, we can see that the only difference in the table is the last line. So here, the 39% are only calculated on the 103 euros. So basically, from the tax from the bracket 45,897 to 46,000 euros. And at the end, this person, thanks to the deduction of the 4,000 euros, will only pay 8,074 euros in taxes, and the tax gain would be in that case of 1,669 euros. So thanks to the 4,000 euros of deductions, he could save 1,669 euros in taxes. There you have different options. Basically, we talked already about special expenses and allowances. Just to give you a few examples. So special expenses, you have interest you are paying on private loans, for example, for a car, are deductible. Insurance premiums, voluntary pension plan premiums. So if you subscribe to a pension plan, or contributions to the home savings plan are also deductible. In the category of allowances, you can find, for example, the costs you have for childcare, for example, the crèche or the maison relais here in Luxembourg, but also for domestic help. For example, if you have a cleaning person that you hired at home, that one is deductible up to 5,400 euros. And the same for a cleaning company that comes to your home to clean up, that's also deductible. You have extraordinary expenses. There, in that category, you can only deduct them if you hit a certain minimum. On Tax 6, we calculate automatically that minimum, which is based on your income and on your family situation. And so you know if you could add something or not. The tax relief for cars and bicycles is no longer available for tax return 2021 because now in Luxembourg you are getting subsidies for those types of purchases. So interest expenses on loan and insurance premium. You have to know that for special expenses, there's always a maximum deductible limit. And that maximum deductible limit depends on the situation of your household, so the numbers of persons in your household. And for other special expenses, it depends also on the age. We're coming to that in a few minutes. So here, for the insurance premiums and interests on loans, you can deduct up to 672 euros per family member living in the household. For example, if you are a couple with 2 kids, you could deduct 2,688 euros on your tax return. On one hand, you can deduct interests you pay on consumer loans, as I mentioned, the loan for your car, for example. But you can also deduct credit card interest if you have any, and overdraft interests you have on your bank account if you are below 0. Then on the insurance premium side, you can deduct the civil liability insurance, for example, for your car insurance. You could deduct life insurances, medical insurances, but the most important is you can only deduct those insurances and those interests up to the maximum depending on your family situation. Let's have a look at the 2 examples from our partner Lux. There is a life insurance called Lux Education, which is basically a life insurance where you can set up some savings for your kids, for example, to help them to go to university. If you would invest 100 euros per month over 10 years, then your kid would receive, for example, at the age of 18, every quarter, minimum of 438 euros of money. So over the 5 years, that will be a total of 8,760 euros. So that money could be used by your kids for the university, for example. And in case of death of 1 or 2 parents, let's say, for example, by a car accident, the kids would get 105,000 euros one shot in order to cover them up. Then on the tax gain side, let's have an example with the couple with a taxable income of 100K. So over 10 years, they would have to pay 12,000 euros for that insurance. The tax gains would be a little bit more than 5,000 euros. So at the end, the insurance only cost them a little less than 7,000 euros. And the minimum amount the kids will get out of that contract, it's 8,760 euros. So thanks to tax gains, that insurance could make sense financially. Another insurance would be a complementary health insurance, for example, from DKV Luxembourg. This insurance covers, for example, doctor visits, hospital stays, everything that is not taken in charge by CNS, glasses, contact lenses, dental care, kinesiotherapy, osteopathy, and much more. And there also you can benefit from tax gains. So, for example, a single 30 years old with taxable income of 50K, the annual premium for that insurance would be 710 euros. Minus the tax gains thanks to the deductions, 280. So at the end, the insurance would only cost 430 euros, 36 euros per month. So an outstanding balance insurance is an insurance that covers your mortgage in case of death and allows you to protect your family because if you would die, the insurance would cover the mortgage, and so your family would no longer have to pay that mortgage back. So there in Luxembourg you have two possibilities. You have the possibility to pay that insurance monthly or annually. In that case, the premiums you pay will fall under the maximum deductible limit together with all the other insurances. So your car insurance, medical health insurance, and others. And very quickly you will be over the maximum deductible limit with those insurances. So on the tax optimization side, it's often better to opt for a single premium. So with a single premium, basically you pay the entire insurance at one shot, and there you can deduct a lot more on your tax return. Basically, you could deduct 6K per person, plus 1,200 euros per child, and for each year exceeding 30 years, the maximum deductible limit will increase by 8%. So, for example, if you have a couple, father 40 years, mother 38, and 2 kids, then you could deduct almost 25,000 euros on your tax return. So let's take that example. So with a taxable income of 120K, the taxes you would have to pay would be 27,800 euros, and without the deduction. And with a deduction, you would only have to pay 17,400 euros in taxes. So the tax gain would be more than 10,000 euros thanks to that outstanding balance insurance. So at the end, an example, if you would cover a mortgage of 600K, at that moment you would have to pay an insurance for almost 25,000 euros. Thanks to tax gains at the end, the net price for that insurance would only be 14,500 euros. And this allows you to protect your family, your kids, for the worst case scenario. Also good to know, if, for example, you bought a home in 2015 and you covered a part of your mortgage at that time, then every 5 years you can profit from that higher maximum deductible limit. So you could cover another part of your mortgage now and get the same deductions than 6-7 years ago. So it's interesting to know that even if at that moment you did not cover the entire mortgage, you can do it now, and you can get tax savings thanks to that. To learn more about life insurance, medical insurance, outstanding balance insurance, we have a webinar planned on November 11, where we are explaining what are different possibilities you have to protect your family and save taxes. So you will see all those different products more in detail. Just follow that webinar if interested. So a pension plan allows you to set up a capital for your pension, basically. There you could deduct each 3,200 euros per person, but only for adults. So there it's the kids don't play a role in this. So basically, if you are a couple, you can deduct 2 times 3,200 euros, and your possible tax savings with a taxable income of 100K would be 2,670 euros. So you can access that money at the age of 60. So even if at that moment you are still working, you can access it at the age of 60 and or after minimum of 10 years. So for example, if today you are 55 years old, you still can subscribe to a pension plan, but the minimum time that a contract has to run is 10 years. So you will get the money out of the contract at the age of 65. At our partner Lux, they have 2 options. Basically, they have the performance options, where your money will be invested on the stock market through different investment funds, or you have the security option, where your savings are guaranteed, and where you can also get a participation on the profit of the insurance company. More about that in the webinar next week. But at first, a little example. So for example, if you would invest each month 100 euros in a pension plan, your capital after 25 years would be approximately 60,000 euros, and the total tax savings would be approximately 12,500 euros. If we would go up to the maximum deductible limit, so the 266 euros per month, 3,200 per year, then your capital after 25 years would be approximately 152 euros, and total tax savings over that time would be 33,350 euros. At the end of the contract, that capital will be taxed, but only at half of average tax rate. This means for a couple with a taxable income of 100K, approximately 9%. So up to then, they could save almost 42% each year. And at the end, when they get all the money out of the contract, they will be taxed at 9%. So next week, November 4th, we have a webinar only about the pension plan and the different possibilities you have there, and it will be a lot more detailed than today. And I can also tell you what specificities for expats, for example, if you would leave Luxembourg, what happens to the money, and all this information. You will get it next week at 1 p.m. In the webinar about the pension plan. So a home savings plan is basically like a savings account, and there also you could deduct the money that you're investing into that home savings plan on your tax return. The maximum deductible limit depends on the numbers of persons in your household and your age. So basically, if you are a couple, father 40 years, mother 38, 2 kids, then you could deduct up to 5,376 euros. And your tax gains would be 2,243 euros. Important to know, you can access the money after 10 years, and at that moment, you have to use it for your home. So you have to use it for a new home acquisition. You can use it for a new construction. You can use it for renovation, or you can also use it for mortgage redemption. So you can use it to pay back on your mortgage if at that moment you still have a mortgage running. There also, November 18th, we have a webinar only about home savings, so you can have an idea about the possibilities and also the advantages of this type of investment. So what product makes sense for you? But this depends a lot on your individual situation. So basically, as we have seen, the family situation, revenues, age, everything has to be taken into account. But we can help you with that. Basically, what you can do if you are doing your tax return on taxx.lu, then at the end of the process, when you are downloading your tax return, which is ready to go for tax administration, you will have a free analysis of your tax optimization potential. So basically, the system will calculate your Opti score, which is a score from 0 to 100. If you have an Opti score of 0, this means that you deducted nothing at all on your tax return. And if you hit the 100, the Opti score of 100, at that moment you have fully deducted everything you can deduct based on your situation. On that website, you can find videos where we are explaining the different possibilities you have, and you find the exact amount of taxes you could save in your personal situation. So based on your tax return, we can tell you exactly how much you could save if you would subscribe to one or the other tax optimization product. For people who have done their tax return on their own, and not yet on taxx, we have a simulator. So basically, you can go to taxx.lu/simulator, and there you could upload the PDF of your last tax return, and the system will analyze after 2-3 seconds. You can see quite the same analysis we have here with your potential, basically on how to save on taxes. So it's taxx.lu simulator where you can give it a try. Another possibility, you can also schedule a call with one of our experts. Normally it's 10 to 15 minutes. So we can analyze your situation. We can discuss your situation, your revenue, your possibilities, your options, and we can help you to sign up the products that would interest you together. This call is free of charge. So just scan the QR code, and there you will find an you will find a calendar, and you can choose the date and time you want to be called back, and we can have a short call together in order to better understand your situation and your tax optimization potential. If you have any questions regarding your tax return, regarding tax optimization, don't hesitate to contact our team. On TaxX, on the bottom right of the website, you have a chat function. There you can talk to our tax experts, and you can also send them an email on help@taxx.eu with your questions, and we would be happy to help you with everything. So I have to wish you a very good weekend. Enjoy the sun, and see you next time on TaxX. Thank you.